My name is Mike Nelson. Last month I was called to Florida. My assignment was to test a new type of spear gun. The manufacturer wanted to know how straight it would shoot under different conditions. The job was simple and comparatively safe. But you never know what will happen under the sea. Those spears had extra sharp barbs. I knew they could slice through the toughest shark hide in the ocean. But what I didn't know was that one of those spears would be used against me. Remote beach. One afternoon, the surf began to get heavy, so I decided to climb out before I got pounded senseless. But as I left the water, something made me turn. I scanned the huge combers that were rolling in like thunderheads. Suddenly, I caught a glimpse of flailing arms behind one of those huge waves. When it broke, I saw a girl. She was caught in the rip current. It was dragging her out to sea. It was a brutal struggle to get through those breakers, but I fought with all my strength. I knew that any second she might be dragged under and swept out to sea by that powerful undertow. Luckily, I reached her in time. I dragged her clear of the rip current and got her ashore. But I had to carry her. Passed out. That puzzled me. She was breathing well enough, but her heart was pounding like a rivet gun. Then I noticed something even more perplexing. She had bruises on her shoulders, but no other signs of injury. I looked to see if somebody was waiting for her on the beach. There wasn't a soul. I couldn't understand this. Why had she been swimming alone? Why was she unconscious? There was only one thing to do. Get her to the hospital. I've been deep sea diving for a good many years. I know what can happen to a person in the ocean. But this girl was a complete mystery. I waited at the hospital till she was revived. I wanted to see what she would say.
Just relax. You're all right now. You're in Miami General Hospital.
Miami?
What's your name, miss? Please tell me your name. Is there anybody I can contact for you? Your parents? Your husband? Anybody at all?
Is she unconscious again?
She's suffering from exposure. She needs rest. You better put her into a bed, nurse.
She gonna be all right, you think?
Oh, I think so. You're sure you don't know who she is?
I'm positive.
Well, this is Dr. Barton. Get me the police.
The next day, I was called for questioning, but by the United States Immigration Service instead of the police. It must have been important. I was told to report to the head of the bureau himself.
Mr. Nelson, when you rescued this girl yesterday, she was swimming alone?
Yes. Yes, she was. And it seemed strange to me, too, that she was in such an isolated spot. Nobody waiting for her.
Or was there anything else that seemed strange to you?
Oh, yes, those bruises on her shoulders. I remember that because, well, at the time, I said to myself, gee, that's funny. Those are the same kind of marks that I've seen on a beginner at skin diving.
Skin diving?
Yeah, the harness straps of a diving lung.
Diving lung? Well, that may be something. Is Castro still in there with you?
Yes, he is, Mr. Tucker.
Well, send him back in here, will you? You've heard of Duke Castro, haven't you?
Who hasn't? You mean the mobster was deported a couple of months ago, don't you?
Yeah. We picked him up in downtown Miami yesterday.
No.
Yes.
Oh, he didn't waste any time getting back into the country, did he?
No, I didn't. Al Castro, have you decided to tell us how you got back in the country?
I'm saving that for my autobiography.
When was the last time you were vaccinated?
When I was a kid.
No, let's take a look at it.
What for?
No, I want to see if it's any good.
It's good.
Take off his coat. Now his shirt.
What is this?
Hey, you want to get that beautiful shirt all mussed up?
Castro took his shirt off, and there were the same dark bruises on his shoulders.
You satisfied?
Bruises caused by the straps of heavy diving lungs.
And believe me, my lawyer's going to hear about
Take
it.
him away. Took us 3 years to deport him. 3 years of bitter battles in the courts. And we no sooner get him out of our hair than he bounces right back, and they're all doing it.
You think they're using a diving lung somehow to get in, huh?
Well, that does sound like a fantastic idea at that, doesn't it? How far could a person swim with one of those things strapped to their backs?
Well, with a 3-tank job, that's the biggest. An expert could do a couple of miles, but a novice like Castro, the girl, they'd use up too much air.
What'd be their top range?
About a half a mile.
No, the nearest island is 100 miles away.
How about the other illegal entries? Do any of them have bruises on them?
Hey, that's an idea. Let me check on that. Hey, Courtney.
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
Call the morgue. Find out if that body that was washed ashore at Key Largo had any bruise marks on the shoulders.
While Tucker waited for the answer, he sent me to the detention facility to see the girl. We figured that because she was indebted to me for saving a life, she might give me some helpful information. But before I could ask any questions, she did some asking of her own for a very special favor.
The officials said that if a responsible person will vouch for me, they will release me until my hearing next week.
Oh?
Yes, on bond. It can be arranged for $50. I can guarantee to pay it back in a few weeks.
Well, I don't know anything about you. I don't even know your name. And Mr. Tucker tells me that you've refused to answer any questions.
Please. I know I give you little reason to trust me. But I promise I will tell everything I know at my hearing next week.
Why'd you tell it now, then?
I cannot.
If I arrange for you to get out of here, how do I know that you won't just go off and leave me holding the bag?
You have saved my life. I wouldn't do anything like that to you. Oh, please, please, Mr. Nelson. Help me.
Okay. I'll go check with Mr. Tucker.
Courtney.
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
Courtney, prepare a bond. I'm releasing number 8566 in Mr. Nelson's custody.
I will, Mr. Tucker. And the morgue just got back to me. Very pronounced bruises on the shoulders.
Somebody's sending a lot of 3-tank diving lungs. You want me to check into it?
No, my men will take care of that. You concentrate on number 8566. And good luck.
Thanks.
I'll check with you. I got your number. Courtney, send in Bill right away.
The mystery was right back where it started, in my lap. 110 gorgeous pounds of it. With a charming accent, but no desire to tell what she knew. We checked out of the immigration service gate. Mike Nelson and a girl. A girl who could have been a key figure in a vicious scheme to repopulate the criminal ranks of our country. But instinct told me that she was a decent person, worthy of my trust. So I tried to relax. Headlights appeared in my rear-view mirror from time to time. I didn't know they belonged to just one car, the car that was following me. I took the girl to a motel overlooking the sea. While I was checking her in, someone lifted a spear gun from my Jeep. He was after the spear itself, the one with razor-sharp barbs. As I got the girl settled in her room, the man with the spear kept out of sight.
Take your coat. This isn't exactly the Ritz, but it's comfortable. And you got the ocean at your back door. Take a look at this. How's that for a view, huh? You like the ocean?
It's very frightening.
It's also very fascinating. You ever been underwater with a lung? Skin diving, I mean?
It's late. I'm sorry, but I'm very
Yeah,
tired.
I know. All these patio doors locked from the inside, so I guess I better sleep out here tonight. The immigration department wouldn't like it if I lost you. Neither would I.
Before I locked her in the room for the night, she helped me make up my bed on the patio. She seemed to be a very nice person, but for some reason, known only to herself, she still kept her identity a secret.
You know, you're not as big a mystery as you think you are.
No?
No. For instance, the way you work, the way you make this bed, you probably came from a large family. Lots of brothers, lots of sisters.
I could have been a maidservant, too.
I doubt that. I'd say that your family was well off. That you went to private school, you studied painting, ballet, maybe even took piano lessons, huh?
Violin.
Violin. I bet you were a pretty little girl. Probably had a lot of friends, went to a lot of parties.
You're very wrong. I was a homely little girl, and there were no parties. There. I hope you sleep with comfort.
I'm sorry I have to do this. Night.
I was more mystified than ever. How could that girl be mixed up with a man like Duke Castro? I recalled him standing there in Tucker's office with an arrogant grin on his puss. He didn't care if they threw him out of the country again. He knew he could get right back in. One thing was clear. I had plenty to worry about. But I didn't dream it would hit me so directly or so soon.
I'll take that key.
The girl I knew only as number 8566 had been in my custody only an hour. But she was no longer my prisoner. I was hers.
When did you get in?
Yesterday.
How did you know where to find me?
When I learned you were not at the hotel, I waited outside the immigration service. When you came out with him, I followed you.
What about... a Cenk?
Tomorrow.
I hope everything will be all right.
So do I.
Sorry we have to do this, Mr. Nelson. I owe him a great deal. He saved my life.
Make no noise, I will not harm you. I regret that this may make you uncomfortable, but it is the only safe way.
Take my advice. Go to Mr. Tucker and tell him what he wants to know. I guarantee that he'll give you every possible break that he can.
We cannot answer questions.
You realize what you're doing? Do you know who else is getting into this country the way you did?
Who?
Racketeers, drug peddlers, professional killers. And they're coming back as fast as they were deported.
How do you know?
I met one of them, Duke Castro. America's #1 gangster. You want to leave the door wide open for people like that?
My sister and I do not, of course, wish to give any assistance to such people.
All right, call Mr. Tucker on the phone.
No. Not till tomorrow night.
Why not now?
Can't we tell him?
I suppose it would do no harm. The one who will come in tomorrow is our brother.
Your brother?
Leopold. That is why I refused to tell even the slightest detail. I was afraid the officials would stop him from making the trip.
Leo is only 15.
He's just a baby.
You do him an injustice. Leo, did he share out the fighting?
What fighting?
Against the tanks in Budapest.
Budapest?
Yes, he fought. But still, if he were to be stranded where he is now, he would be so helpless, so frightened.
That is why we must keep you like that. We can afford to take no chances.
So they were freedom fighters from Hungary. The girl's connection with Duke Castro was strictly accidental. I could fall asleep without fear of having my throat cut. We all fell asleep, praying that a 15-year-old boy would make his dangerous journey safely the next day. But as that day arrived, we were due for a bitter shock.
Not a word about us. You understand?
Hello?
Mike, I'm sorry to get you up so early, but I thought you'd like to know. Your suggestion paid off.
What was that?
How about checking on those diving lungs? The manufacturer gave me the name of a dealer who's been selling a big lot of them. A customer named Cal Evans. Runs a fishing boat service out of Key West. The Coast Guard has him reported leaving San Cristobal this morning.
San Cristobal?
Yeah, it's a small island about 100 miles southeast of here.
What are you going to do?
I'll catch you red-handed, I hope. I'm shoving off in a patrol boat right away. Did you find anything out about the girl?
No, not yet.
Now, this looks like the lead we've been waiting for. I'll see you when I get back.
Good luck.
Thanks.
What is it?
The immigration service. They are going to intercept Evans.
Intercept him?
With a border patrol boat.
Oh, no. What will happen to Leo?
He'll be taken under custody.
Oh, no, he won't be. That man Evans, he promised to tow me in close to shore. And then... Yes, but a boat came by and he cut me loose a mile from the beach. That's why I almost drowned.
You mean Evans is towing your brother?
Yes, underwater, on a sea sled.
A sea sled, of course.
When he sees that patrol boat, he will cut Leo loose.
Yeah, and he'll be a lot further than a mile away from the beach, too.
Oh, Bella, we must do something quickly.
You bet we do. Come on, get me out of this.
Bella, please.
Cut me loose if you want to save your brother. Cut me loose.
We borrowed a fast boat from the motel pier and shoved off. Bela took the wheel while I got my diving gear ready. I hoped that there would be no need to use it. That was a pretty thin hope. "10 miles from us, a fishing boat cruised at the speed of 7 knots per hour. The boat had fine equipment above and the most unusual equipment below. A sea sled with one passenger. He was strapped on tightly. Otherwise, the heavy drag of the water against his body would have pulled him off in half an hour. It was a long, lonely ordeal for this 15-year-old boy.
Won't it go any faster?
It's wide open. About that man Evans. How much did he charge you?
$2,500.
Yeah.
As we raced out to sea, they gave me all the information that Tucker needed. How they had met this man Evans, and how he had towed them one by one underwater past the Coast Guard and Border Patrol. The Border Patrol boat was heading to sea at 35 knots. The weather was clear. Visibility, several miles. It would be easy to make contact with Cal Evans. But to take him by surprise was impossible.
Hey, Cal, there's a boat up ahead. Doesn't look like the Coast Guard.
No, it's a border patrol, and they're giving us a signal to stop.
You're not going to do that again, are you?
What do you think?
Leo Benedict was no stranger to terror. He had faced the tanks in Budapest. That had been in the sunshine and air with friends at his side. Here he was alone, sinking further and further into the pressure, the darkness, the cold. What was in his heart at this moment must have been beyond imagination. As he settled to the bottom, the Border Patrol ordered Evans to heave to.
There! Some boats!
I could see Tucker pulling alongside Evans. But the sea beyond was empty. No sign of Leopold. No sign of a rescue pack or marker buoy.
What are you guys looking for?
We know you've been buying diving lungs. Where are they?
I sell them in the Bahamas.
Our speedboat tore across the sea, chewing up the remaining distance. I got ready to hit the water.
What have you been towing?
Pulled a boat off the sandbar this morning.
What'd you find?
Nothing but this.
You cut him loose to drown like me. Oh, Lee.
You inhuman duckhead!
What are we gonna do?
How far back did you cut him loose?
Evans kept silent. He had no compunctions about destroying the evidence against him, even when it was a human being. I had no other choice but to go down and take a look. Leo could have been anywhere, 100 yards away or 5 miles. The water was clear, but too deep for me to see the bottom. I looked for expanding air bubbles. I knew there would be some rising from Leo's diving lung, if he was down there. The bottom was over 100 feet down. If Leo was at that depth, there was a new danger. If he got free of the sled, if he raced for the surface as fast as he could go, the bends would hit him like a pile driver. Or worse, air embolism would rupture his lungs. Either could kill him. Only a decompression chamber could save him. The nearest one was too far away to do any good. Spotted him, still on the bottom and still strapped to the sled. As I dove down, I saw why he was trapped. Panic had seized him. He was unable to untie the straps. I began cutting him free. It was good to know the door had been slammed in Duke Castro's face. What's more, the mystery of number 8566 had been cleared up. I held Leo firmly in check now. We rose slowly, at the prescribed rate, decompressing as we went. Above, there would be a happy reunion with his brother and sister. Perhaps there might even be what all three longed for most, a safe home in a free country. Oh, it was my pleasure. I'm glad I could help.
Hey, wait a minute. Not so fast. Here's the $50 you put up for Lily Benedict's bond.
Lily Benedict. That's a pretty name, huh? What do you think's going to happen at the hearing? They won't be deported, will they?
Back to Hungary? No. We're strict around here, but we're not inhuman. I imagine they'll be paroled to one of the church organizations until we can find some way to settle their case.
Well, that's fair enough. Meantime, you'll be keeping him here in the detention facility, huh?
You want to see her?
Well, I was going to ask if I could take her out to dinner.
Sure. But I'll have to have that bomb back. Rules are rules.
It's worth it. Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.